What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So with the current bear market taking full effect over the past few weeks and a lot of people panic selling due to fear in the market, today I want to go through how this is actually good as a long-term investor. We're going to go through what stocks / ETFs and crypto I bought over the last few weeks, and we'll kind of take a quick look at my growth stock portfolio and crypto portfolios as well. And we'll kind of go through my plan of action going forward as we continue into this current bear market. So with all that being said, let's get straight on into today's video. So if you're new around here, just a quick recap. We made a fairly outlandish statement that we want to have €1 million net worth in 5 years. And again, we have about 8 means or investment vehicles to actually get there. Now today we're going to be focusing on the ones highlighted in green here, my growth stock portfolio, dividend portfolio, ETFs and crypto, and how over the next few weeks and months, if the bear market continues, how we'll be able to capitalize here and drive down our overall average cost within these investments. So eventually, once inevitable happens and the markets continue to rise again and we enter a new bull market, we'll actually make a lot more capital because our overall average costs will be a lot cheaper. Now, let's have a brief look through my portfolio to see what stocks I currently have and what I'm buying next. Now, we can see on screen on the left here, we currently have about 8 investment vehicles that I'm currently involved with. Now, again, we're going to leave out the dividend portfolio today as, surprisingly enough, this actually hasn't been affected by the first few weeks of the bear market. And my overall dividend portfolio on Trading 212 is relatively stable and consistent, surprisingly enough, over the past few weeks. Now, we only have started these portfolios just before Christmas as well, so we don't have a whole lot of capital here, which is actually pretty good considering we're entering the first stages of a bear market, which means we can get our overall average cost down within a lot of our investments. Now, the two portfolios that have been affected considerably, that is, by the bear market are my growth stock portfolio and crypto portfolio. So in today's video, we're actually going to just focus on these two portfolios, and we're going to go through what stocks I hold in my growth portfolio, what I'm planning on buying next, and also we'll have a kind of general overview in terms of my plan of action going forward if we continue into this bear market. So in terms of my overall investments, we use DeGiro as my broker choice, my ETF portfolio, Trading 212 for our dividend portfolio. We then have on screen, as you can see here, eTORO for our growth stock portfolio, and we use Coinbase for our crypto. Now, again, as we're kind of predominantly investing within this growth portfolio of the next few weeks to take advantage of the bear market that's on the horizon, we're going to focus on this today. Now, in my prior video, we had 5 investments within this portfolio, but I made it aware that I did want to have about 10 to 12 investments within my growth stock portfolio overall as we carry on throughout the next few years. Now, we have 10 at the moment, which we can see on screen with the likes of Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Alphabet Class A, Facebook or Meta platforms, Microsoft, Walt, Disney make up the first few here. Now we have a few more at the bottom of the screen, which we'll discuss in a few seconds as well. But there is 2 ETFs actually I'm going to be adding to this portfolio over the next few days, which we're going to discuss in a bit more detail throughout this video. As stated earlier as well, we're really in the infant stage of this portfolio. We can see on screen we only have about $150 invested at the moment, with $17.92 free capital going forward. Now the bottom 3 here are the remaining 3 of the 10 we have bought into this week in the form of Visa, MasterCard and Flutter Entertainment, which is an online betting company between Paddy Power and Betfair, which in my opinion definitely has a lot of potential going forward as a stock to invest in, which you can make a video later down the line on that as well. But that's where we're standing at the moment. We have 10 stocks here. Again, tiny amounts of capital invested in each, ranging from $10 to $20. That again, over the next few weeks, we'll definitely be taking advantage of. Now again, this morning, logging into my portfolios, all of these were actually in the red. So we did have a bit of a pullback over the last few days. But again, it's starting to bounce back again over the last few hours. We can see a few of my positions are now going back into the green. But in all honesty, because we only just started off this portfolio, I'd actually be a lot happier if they actually all went into the red. As strange as that seems, a few of these positions were 5 or 6% down only last night. So again, over the next few days, hopefully this bear market continues for a few days at the very least. And we're actually going to start investing a lot more capital in here to dollar cost average. Now, if you're kind of new to dollar cost averaging, it's effectively buying your position at a cheaper price to get an overall average cheaper position. For example, if stock A was $100 and you bought 1 share, the next day it dropped down to 80 and you bought a second share, then your overall average cost would be $90 instead of $100. Now, that's pretty layman terms of going over what dollar cost averaging is. but it's extremely effective as a long-term investor. Mentioned earlier, there's two ETFs that I might add to my overall portfolio, growth portfolio that is, on eToro. And the first of these is the iShares Global Clean Energy ETF, ticker symbol ICLN. Now we can see here on screen some of the top holdings here, ranging from Enfys Energy to Consolidated Edison, etc. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's about 113 holdings overall within this ETF. Now, why I want to hold these clean energy stocks as an ETF is because it's pretty much in its infant stage and there's a lot of subsectors within this market. Hence why I want to have an overall basket approach here and buy this iShares Clean Energy ETF, which I actually did hold before on my old portfolio and was quite happy with. Now again, there's a lot of potential within this sector. Again, it doesn't take a genius to realize that clean energy is certainly the way forward as we kind of move away from the older school styles of energy such as oil, gas, etc. So again, over the long term, especially over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a lot of progress within the sector. So I do believe I am going to add this ETF over the next few weeks to the portfolio. And the second ETF here, which would make up the overall 12 holdings in my stock portfolio on eToro, will be Cathie Wood's ARK Invest, ticker symbol ARKK, which again is all about innovation. Now it has taken a hammering over the last 6 to 12 months, and a lot of people have jumped ship here and panic sold. But again, at current prices, I do believe if it continues to go down in value, it will be undervalued. Now we can see on screen some of the main holdings here range from the likes of Tesla to Zoom. Let's say if we go down the list here, we can see a Block, we can see Coinbase, etc. So there's a vast array of innovative stocks here, which again, over the next few years, will be some of the leaders within the stock market. So at current prices, I do believe I might add a holding here into my portfolio. Now, it's a very interesting ETF in comparison to some of the older school boring ETFs. But again, I have a lot of interest within this sector. Again, most people do in innovation. It's no surprise there, as that is the way forward. So again, that's probably one of the reasons why I might add a small position into my eToro growth portfolio as well. So in summary, for this growth portfolio, just like my dividend portfolio as well, the main plan of action here is nothing drastic in terms of just having a fairly substantial cash reserve ready to take action when inevitably these do drop in value. Now we can see even just on screen here, some of these are down nearly 3% and some of the ones higher up the list here are down even more, which again means I will be taking advantage of this bear run and get in at these cheaper prices, because long term these stocks, in particular these kind of big established blue chip stocks, will bounce back. And again, a lot of people, just like last year, will probably start kicking themselves for not getting in at these cheaper discounted prices. But for now, that's kind of where we're at with my growth and dividend portfolios. Now let's have a very brief look at my crypto portfolio as well. So for some strange reason, we can't access the webless platform here for Coinbase. I can on my mobile app, but for now we'll just leave it as is. We can see here that currently Bitcoin over the last 3 months, or the last month that is, it's down 13.85%, which is actually a lot even for a volatile asset such as cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in particular. It's currently trading at about 37,562 euro a share. Now again, just like my growth portfolio, we have tiny amounts of capital here at the start. We only have something like 95 euro invested, so again, we're one of the minnows in the grand scheme of things in terms of crypto. But again, we're just starting into this nonetheless, and over time, these will start to increase in value substantially. So again, over the next few weeks, if this continues to drop, just like any other of my assets, I'll be sure to buy in more to get down my overall average cost. Now, obviously, it's going to be a long time before we ever have one full Bitcoin because of the current prices and how much we're actually willing to invest in this asset. Now, again, if you wanted one full Bitcoin, it would be just about 37,500 euro. That's probably about $45,000 or thereabouts. So again, as you can imagine, it'll take a long time before we actually get there, but over time, I do believe we can get there, and especially within the next 5-year period, which I have planned out, where I want to get to 1 million euro net worth overall across all of my different investment assets. Definitely Bitcoin will play a part here, and hopefully we'll have at least one full Bitcoin by that time. So in summary, the main message I really want to get across here is to definitely don't panic as a long-term investor. In fact, you should actually be looking for times like these where the bear market is on the horizon, because for example, if there's a bull market continuing, that means that your overall average cost, if anything, are going to increase, which inevitably will be bad for you once the markets do drop. So a bear market is definitely welcome news as a long-term investor. Now, thankfully, again, as mentioned, we are definitely in the infant stages in all of these portfolios, which means my overall average cost will be a lot easier to drop down over time. So again, I'm looking forward to taking advantage here at the early stage of these portfolios, and hopefully over time will be proven correct, and our overall average cost by dropping them down so much will give us an overall bigger profit going forward. So that's pretty much the end of today's video. Again, I'd be very interested to see in the comment section below your thoughts on the current market conditions. If you're buying more, if you're going to sell, or if you're going to just hold and ride out the current bear market. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you all in the next video.